Oh, I'm proud. I'm proud of the way the club's conducted itself, particularly over the second half of the year, and the players that are the 22 players are the guys who get to represent our club each week. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I think everyone's conducted themselves really well. We fell short tonight. I mean, we're really disappointed. Obviously, it was a huge opportunity, and we gave it our best. But West Coast were too good for us in the end.
You kept them goalless in the first quarter. You came in to the break. Where did it go wrong or turn after that?
Oh, we knew they'd respond, and I didn't necessarily think we dropped off. I think they got control in a few areas and took a few opportunities where we got beaten in a few one-on-one contests. But no, I didn't think at any stage that we necessarily dropped off. I just thought they upped their intensity and responded as good teams do, and they're a good team.
The opportunities in the first quarter, Brad, rue them now. You sit back and say, we had control of the game, working the back six, it seemed to be working Hanson, and you lose big guys, getting plenty of drive, shots at goal, some fell short, some just drifted away. Opportunity maybe 6-7 goals in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, in high-pressure games, we saw a few kicked out in the full early. You see a few uncharacteristic things, but that's just because of the moment and the what's on the line. And I thought that, we would have loved to have taken our opportunities. You look at Hawthorn last night. You kick really accurately, but I thought both sides missed their chances. I mean, I think, 7 or 8 very gettable shots at goal we missed in the middle part of the game as well. But to say that was a reason why we didn't win the game would be unfair on West Coast, because they generated opportunities that they didn't take as well. So I think it cut both ways there.
We saw some vision of you in the box. How telling were some of the free kicks? The one against Dell, particularly late in the second quarter?
Oh, it's the rub of the green stuff. You play an interstate preliminary final. The crowd was fantastic tonight. I thought they generated a superb atmosphere, and it makes it really tough for the people that are charged with adjudicating the game. So I understand the frustration of supporters, and particularly our supporters, West Coast supporters, when they didn't go their way. But our game's the hardest game in the world to umpire, and sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. It's frustrating, but we never sit back and say, well, umpires cost us the game, because that would be unfair on them, and it would be unfair on West Coast, and it wouldn't be true.
How hard is it to, not supposed to penetrate that defensive, style of West Coast style, the middle?
Yeah, it's a credit to them the way they're playing, but I thought that our forwards all looked dangerous throughout the whole night, which is probably... I think of a few one-on-one contests we would have expected to do a little bit better and maybe expected to win. So I thought our system stacked up, and I thought we were able to... we're usually a pretty efficient side, inside 50. And that's what finals are about against really good opposition. You just got to take your chances when they arise, and I thought we generated enough of them.
Brad, you added 2 quality players last year who had outstanding seasons. Do you need to add more again this year, or do you have a list to take the next step?
I'm always fascinated by the dissection of people's lists and how you're going to go next year. I mean, we're just striving to get better, and I've said repeatedly that we're not focused on the short, medium, or long term in isolation. We're focused on it all. We want to get better in the short term without compromising our medium to long term future, and we'll continue to try to do that.
Just on that track, we ended up in the same position as last year. Do you feel you did get better this year?
There's very little doubt in my mind, but I think it's probably for others to judge. But personally and in-house, I mean, the competitiveness that the group's shown in the second half of the year in particular, the fact that we thought we were still coming tonight against a very good opposition after a week off in a home prelim, all those things that happened to us last year, and I thought it was a far better performance tonight. We had a crack, and I don't think I think it's a really good platform for us to build on. But if we don't get better again, then the competition will go past us.
What are some of the key areas where you do have to improve to really match it with the heavyweights?
Oh, just everywhere. I mean, it's pretty general. I'm not going to go too deeply into specifics, but I mean, one of the strengths of our side, particularly in this final series, is that we haven't relied on anyone in particular. It's been a really good team performance, and coupled with that is the fact that, you know, our guys who come in and play roles for us have played really important roles. You know, Jacobs again today, Gibson, you know, Turner and Garner's role that they play for us is not high possession footy, but it's critical to the way we want to play, and that's what we've got to continue to build and continue to value. And you know, we're not going to put a player in a position that's going to make all the difference. It's going to be about getting better as a team.
3 spirited performances. How important now in hindsight was that round 23 game, the opportunity to give the players a week off?
I've said throughout, it's really difficult to judge. I mean, all we did at the time was make the decision in the best interest of the club and the players. And clearly, we're not going to go into specifics about why those players didn't play, but suffice to say, we know a lot more than anyone else as to why they didn't play. So, you know, the last thing we're going to do is detail all the things that are going on for the opposition, but, you know, you make decisions and you get judged. That's the way this industry works.
Any aspects of your coaching tonight, Brad, that you'd like to have your time again? Something that didn't quite work? You sort of looked at the map and said, we're going to do this. Jacobs work, Gibson is really good, Goldstein lead. Nick McNeil probably where the Goldstein is. There's 3 ticks for it. Was there something that you did that you had your time again, you changed?
I'd like to play the third quarter again, if we could, but that wasn't anything structural, or we just, again, I think it was just credit to West Coast. I mean, they're a good side. I was proud of the way the players tried to execute what we wanted to do. You know, there wasn't anything glaring is the easy answer.
Lindsay Thomas 3 weeks in a row as sub. Is he carrying something, or is it a tactic you rolled on?
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay's been really courageous the second half of the year. He's been injured. He's been, you know, he's had to play with injections for the second half of the year, and it's been more of a, to be honest, a conditioning thing for him. We weren't confident that he could play out a full game, and it was a pretty simple strategy that we would play Turner and Garner, who can give us really high pressure, and when the intensity peters out of the game, you know, Thomas is someone who can capitalise on that, but hasn't really been able to train, hasn't been able to do the work, so still an important part of our side, but you know, I think a lesser person probably would have said I'm not right to go, but he kept putting his hand up.
Is it plantar fascia, is it?
Plantar fascia, yep.
Is it difficult, Brad? I mean, Turner did some really strong things tonight, and we know the other young fella's going to be a good player. When you put those sort of hard-edged forwards in, does that perhaps take away the ability to kick goals through some, creative cheating small forwards?
Not fair to Lindsay cheating, eh, Robert? No. Just in general, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a fair comment if we couldn't score. I mean, I know that wasn't a high-scoring game tonight, but that's the way finals are. But if you look back over our second half of the year, scoring hasn't been an issue for us.
What about, so the 3 tools that you play, are you just wrapped with the success of that this year? They're all going again next year, so that's going to be the sort of plank of your forward system next year?
It'll depend. I mean, we'll always look to evolve, and it's certainly not a given that we'll go that way again next year. I've still got a lot of confidence in Aaron Black. He's had a few injury-interrupted years and hasn't quite regained the form that he had in 2013. But you know, we've been building with our key position players forward and back for a while. So I was really pleased with the year. Jared Waite's fantastic. Really bought into what our football club's about. And you know, I think we've done a really good job of embracing him as well. But what you've done in the past doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in the future.
What do you do to get Daniel Wells up on his X factor and a missing link? Now the season's over, is there something you can do to get him right?
Yeah, well, he would have played other than the fact that he hurt his calf in one of his VFL comeback games, so that set him back, and we just ran out of time. But we're confident that the Achilles issues behind him, and it was the calf that was holding him back. And our main training session during the week, he lit it up for 10 minutes, but I was worried that he only lighted up for 10 minutes tonight, and already going in with a couple of guys not quite right. It was just too big a risk. But yeah, we've just got to get him right now, get a good pre-season, and hopefully get him back to his best.
When you talk to the players after the game, Brad, and you locked all the media out, and that's fine, that's your problem. When you talk to the players, do you actually say, well, bad luck, good effort,
No, we certainly, when you're playing a preliminary final, you've got a great opportunity, and we were ruining a missed opportunity. But again, don't misinterpret my words here. West Coast were too good for us on the night. But when you're playing a prelim, the prize is pretty significant. So the main message to the players was you never know when your opportunity is going to come again. And I referenced Boomer early on in his career, started playing in prelims, grand finals, premierships, and thought it would keep going. And it's been a long break in between before we've been back at this stage. So, you know, we've got to use this as I think, a confidence booster that our best is good enough against the best, but also the fact that we've got to get better, because it's not a given that we're going to be here again next year.
You have to be more, I don't know what the word, everyone's had a crack at it from when you came back from the operation, what you did, ruthless, harder, just playing players who deserve to have a game. Does that have to go an extra step next year to get maximum out of, or even more out of this group?
Oh, Rob, I'll just focus on the facts. You know, there's been a lot talked about that sort of stuff in the second half of the year, but you know, I've been a supportive coach, no doubt. Our players, when challenged, have generally responded. I think we're 16-2 after losses, and so I keep backing players in. But you know, the truth is about the second half of the year, I've just drilled down on what I think is really important and been pretty uncompromising around that. If every other coach tells me his secrets, I'll tell them mine.
What do you say to Ben Brown after tonight? A few drop marks, missed handball, the young guy on the big stage.
Oh, he's going to get better. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of upside. He's been great for us. So, you know, the coaching's not about reminding players that they make mistakes. He's aware, but his effort's been fantastic for us, and he'll only get better from here.
Thanks all.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.